Yeah. Well, along the same lines, you made the statement recently about like not being angry anymore, or at least not angry in the same way as
Yeah,
you used to be. Um, how does that change your creative process?
I think lyrically and musically, I don't think it necessarily changes it that vastly, but I think the actual creative environment is different. I think when we just did the last record, it was actually just super fun to be around each other. It just felt like um, we had all worked so hard to still be there, and we'd been through some pretty heavy touring cycles, as in not as in the amount of dates we did, but as in just going on stage and discussing everything that had happened with Tom every night was really, I think, affecting all of us. It was affecting me a lot, having being the spokesperson for the boys, and sort of bringing up that sort of level of pain every single night, and not wanting to say the same thing, and giving a heartfelt, honest speech every night before we played certain songs was, yeah. At the end of it, it was like, okay, this is I'm really struggling here. So actually going into the studio and being able to be around each other after everything that happened with touring and losing Tom, to then being in this new place where we were writing about different situations and exploring new sounds. It was just, yeah, a really fun time. And it was like, yeah, we weren't that angry when we were tracking stuff. It was like a really fun time. You wouldn't think that when you listen to songs like "Be Very Afraid." They're pretty full on. You have to be a little bit angry to get those vocals out. But yeah, I think just the creative experience, it just felt, yeah, just very exciting and fun, and like nothing was off the cards. And if anyone had an idea, they should try it out, and nothing was too out there. And yeah, it was a real pleasure to record, actually.
Was it not fun in the past?
I think when you're doing songs about your friend passing away, it's hard, especially when for me, singing Dan's lyrics and feeling those emotions and hearing them written down. It was uh it was a lot to take in, and I think also I'd worked so closely with Tom before, on recording vocals. I'd worked with Tom before, and then then when Tom passed away, I was working with Dan, and there was certain things that would just bring up memories and moments, and sort of even just the way, back in the day that he would say things, or the deliveries. They're twins. They spent their entire lives together. Some mannerisms were similar. They're obviously extremely different people, like polar opposites, but mannerisms of being around each other for their entire lives. Yeah, it brought some stuff up, and it was, yeah, and also there was a pressure. There was a real pressure of not wanting to let him down, and wanting to do right by his legacy, and I obviously we still feel that pressure to protect his legacy, but I think we have to do what we think is right as a band, and I think he would just be really proud of us for continuing to create and continuing to push ourselves. But yeah, it was daunting then, and this one felt a little less daunting. It felt like we'd had For Those That Wish to Exist had come out, and we knew that we could write with just the five of us, and it was like, okay, cool, let's push this, let's evolve. I think it's one of those things like evolve or die. What's the point of being there and releasing a 10th record if it's going to sound like your ninth or your eighth?
Well, it's also one of those things where if you keep repeating yourself, people will say you suck because you keep making the same album over and over. On the other hand, if you
Yeah,
change it, they say you suck because you changed it. It's like,
yeah.
what are you
I
gonna
feel
do?
like I feel like Lost Forever, All Our Gods, and Holy Hell was like a really important three records for metalcore.
But what are you gonna
Looking
do?
back
Make
and
eight of
looking,
those?
yeah, looking back now, I can feel that, because at the time, obviously, you don't walk around and you're not like, oh, cool, we're the best metalcore band going. It was just like, you look back, and at that time, and the scene, and what was going on there, it felt like, I feel like those are three records that I'm really, really proud of. Yeah, you can't keep doing that. They're gonna be there. They're always going to be in the set. There's always going to be a place for them within this band's legacy, and they're always going to remain important parts of our career. But yeah, you have to carry on and keep trying, because what do you do? Just turn up and just go, okay, cool, just write a riff that sounds like that. I'll sing, and then we'll pitch over it. I'll do a blur, and then we'll go home.
I mean,
That's
there's
not
plenty of
that's not
people who
fun.
do,
Yeah,
but
but it's just
there's
You
no
have to
way
look
you
for
could
that
do
fun element, you
those.
know.
What's that?
You have to look for that moment of risk, and that moment of like almost like that first time you wrote a song where you're like, oh my god, yeah, that's new, that's cool, that's exciting. Like, can we get away with this? I don't know. Who fucking cares? And then you're like, oh no, I do care. No, I don't. You know, like this sort of
Right.
that moment of creating something new is what I guess what pushes us as a band, and that excitement of like, oh cool, fuck, let's try